the head triad here. 5, 6, 7, head, base, nose. Female 7. All right. So this is my type. So I know this one very intimately. It'd be interesting to be a female here. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, my friends. Hello, my playmates. I'm a 7 on the Enneagram, and something that I want you to know is that I embody joy. Like, I've got access to it. I can download it. I can mainstream it. I'm a friggin' joy machine. Now, sometimes people refer to me as the hedonist of the Enneagram. Like all those drugs that I do and all that partying that I do is a problem. Before my transformation, frankly, as a 7, it was very hard for me to commit to anything or anyone. I would bounce around from relationship to relationship, 6 months here, 1 year there, job to job, and I never got the payoff. I didn't really settle down. Now, after transformation, I learned how to commit, how to settle down, how to stick with it, how to get tenacious, how to deal with pain and suffering. Because over here, pain and suffering were a no-go. I don't do pain. I don't do suffering. That's not okay with me. I want joy. And the worst possible thing that you could make me do is sit in pain and suffering, like those frigging 4s. Oh my God. It's like you guys want to do pain and suffering on demand. All the time. Like, choose joy. Hello? Pain and suffering, optional. Joy, required. So as I evolved, as I moved out of that particular stance, I could actually come in contact with my own pain and suffering. I could feel it here and I could feel it there. And, lo and behold, people started to be more attracted to me, started to feel more connected to me, started to relate to me as someone who's got some gravitas, some ground, some authority. Because from over here, they experienced me as a little light and fuzzy. Not quite the ground that I wanted to have. But post-transformation, they're like, oh, I trust you. I feel you. I can be with you. That was good for me. That transformation was good. Can you feel the difference? Any questions for me as an amazing 7? Because we are kind of amazing. Yes?
What's it like to, I find sometimes when I have a schedule or schedule a date with a good friend of mine who's a 7,
Yeah.
what's it like when you schedule appointments? What's the best way to keep those?
When you schedule appointments with me,
With the 7.
what's the best way for you to keep the appointment?
No,
what's the best way for me to keep the appointment? Oh, I'm bailing on you.
Yeah.
Often.
I think so.
Yes, this happens.
Okay.
So let me tell you why this happens. Because you have something that you've invited me to, and you have something that you've invited me to, and you have something that you've invited me to, and I've said yes to all of you. Because they all sounded really interesting. And if I close out my options, that just sends me into a panic. So if I maybe do 10 minutes over here, and then 20 minutes with you, and I'll spend the last part of the evening with you, we're all good. And in actuality, once I try to get over to you, there's traffic, which I hadn't actually thought that there could be traffic. So I'm late there. I have to call you on the way and cancel you because she's on the... And then he wants my attention, and I'm just like, oh, geez, it's hard. It's hard to manage all the fun things that are happening in the world. But if you give me some direct feedback, and we've got a strong enough relationship that I can hold it, I'll probably start showing up more. Or you'll never see me again. One way or the other. Yes?
Thomas is asking, what is the shadow side of the 7?
Yes, the shadow of the 7. Thank you, Thomas. So the shadow side over here is that avoidance. Avoidance of the pain. The passion that we call gluttony, which is I'm consuming everything and ingesting nothing. So I'm kind of consuming life. I'm bouncing around the surface of life, and it doesn't land deep enough in me. I'm the most likely to go to this spiritual person, and then this spiritual person, and this spiritual discipline, and this spiritual discipline, and never stay with one long enough to have it actually draw me in. And that's the transformation. When I get dropped in, when I stay with something long enough to have it integrate into my being, into my body, when I stay with one job or profession long enough to get the payoff, when I stop the frantic running and go, oh, I can be right here, moment by moment by moment. That's the payoff. Because over here, we're actually running from our own pain. We don't know it, but that's what the sprint's about. That's why I'm keeping all my options open, so I don't have to experience that suffering. Sorry, Thomas. Any other questions for me as a 7? Oh, look at that timing. Yes?
For a head type and a 7, what's the best way to experience more in your body?
Yeah. So the question was, as a head type and as a 7, what's the best way to experience more in your body? So there's lots of body-based practices. Anything where we're actually doing movement, like Tai Chi, Qigong, those kinds of things. When we're visualizing dropping that cord down, grounding ourselves, grounding our energy down into the earth, being in gardens, getting your hands into solid rock, dirt, like in. And then a lot of that opening, when we're actually around people who are opening their hearts and feeling their own suffering and feeling yours. So at our events, we're helping 7s slow down and drop in, open their hearts so that they can feel more love and connection, and we're helping them actually get present to the suffering that's there that they've been avoiding for decades. And it's beautiful. When you see the 7s open, it's just like, it's exquisite to have somebody who's been running from something for decades to actually face into it. Make sense? Yeah. Yeah, last question.
Does narcissism kind of go with one of the types, or can it show up in...
A lot of the types can get a bit narcissistic. We tend to see it strongly in 4s, 8s, 7s. The most kind of self going inside. Good? Give our 7 a round of applause, please.